As war clouds thicken over West Asia, New Delhi has suddenly become the center of a high-voltage geopolitical face-off. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has landed in India for the crucial BRICS Foreign Ministers Meeting, and his arrival itself carried a message for the world. The visuals are on your screens right now. Araghchi arrived aboard an Iranian aircraft named Minab 168, a chilling reference to the 168 girls Iran claims were killed in a US missile strike on a school in Minab during the ongoing US-Israel war. The aircraft has now become a flying symbol of Tehran's anger, grief and defiance. The high-stakes BRICS meet is being chaired by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, who welcomed Araghchi with a handshake amid mounting tensions across West Asia. This marks Iran's first major diplomatic outreach to India since the outbreak of the US-Israel conflict more than 2 months ago. And Tehran is not mincing words anymore. In a fiery speech at the BRICS Foreign Ministers Meeting, Araghchi launched a blistering attack on the United States and Israel, accusing them of carrying out what he called brutal and unlawful aggression against Iran. He declared that Tehran will never bow down. Araghchi also claimed that Washington and Tel Aviv were justifying strikes on Iran using what he called false claims, even contradicting assessments by the International Atomic Energy Agency and America's own intelligence community. Meanwhile, India has struck a measured diplomatic tone. Speaking at the summit, Jaishankar reiterated India's support for a two-state solution on Palestine, while voicing concern over the spiraling conflict in West Asia. But behind the scenes, sharp cracks inside BRICS are now beginning to show. Last month, the grouping failed to issue a joint statement on the Gulf conflict after disagreements erupted between Iran and the UAE over attacks on energy infrastructure. Meanwhile, all eyes are on New Delhi to see whether BRICS can stay united or whether the Iran war will deepen divisions inside the bloc. From war diplomacy to global power equations to fractures within BRICS, New Delhi is now hosting one of the most consequential diplomatic gatherings in the middle of a rapidly escalating global crisis. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also held key diplomatic engagements with Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi on the sidelines of the BRICS Foreign Ministers Summit in New Delhi.
While ready to fight with everything we have in defense of our freedom and our soil, we are equally ready to pursue and defend diplomacy. As I have repeatedly stated, there is no such thing as a military solution to anything related to Iran. We Iranians never bow to any pressure or threat, but we reciprocate the language of respect. As much as our powerful armed forces remain ready to exact devastating retribution on foreign aggressors, my people are peace-loving and do not seek war. We are not aggressor in this sordid situation, but the aggrieved. These crimes and the Western silence they are met with can only take place if there is a sense of impunity. That false sense of entitlement must be shattered by all of us. Iran, therefore, calls upon BRICS member states and all responsible members of the international community to explicitly condemn violations of international law by the United States and Israel, including their illegal aggression against Iran, a member of BRICS, prevent the politicization of international institutions, and take concrete action to halt warmongering and to bring an end to the impunity of those who violate the UN Charter. Those who pursue reckless adventures may believe it furthers their geopolitical interests. But as consumers and governments around the world now sense and understand, regional instability is a lose-lose proposition for all sides, including the aggressors. To virtually everyone in this room, our resistance against US bullying is not an unfamiliar battle. So many of us encounter slight variations of the same repugnant coercion. It is high time for us to jointly step up and work towards making clear that those practices belong in the dustbin of history. Today, our nations are closer to one another than ever before, and we cannot ignore the common and dangerous challenge we all face. History has shown that empires in decline will stop at nothing to arrest their inevitable fates. A wounded animal will desperately claw and roar on its way down.
Well, I'm being joined by Manish Chand, CEO of Center for Global India Insights. Mr. Manish, Araghchi is in India, and his arrival also was filled with a lot of messages. Uh, his visit in India, what does it mean for the ties between the two countries, between India and Iran? And it's coming at a time when India is trying to position itself and it's trying to put out a very balanced opinion between the US and the Iran war.
Right. So, the fact that Iranian foreign minister is here, there was speculation that he may not come also because of Iran's very strong position on the US-Iran war. But he's here because I believe Iran sees India as a friend. India and Iran are civilizational partners. And, following the war, our prime minister had two calls with Iranian president. Foreign Minister Jaishankar had a talk with Mr. Araghchi, his Iranian counterpart, 4-5 times. So, the India-Iran relations have managed to, insulate themselves from the ongoing flux. What Dr. Jaishankar spoke about in his speech today, the flux in the international situation, the flux in the region and all that. So I think it's a gesture also it underscores support for India, Iran's support for India's BRICS presidency, that there will be issues. But the fact that he has come here, and the BRICS is an important platform, and he's made a very strong presentation here. This is a speech which will be, cited by many people. It's a speech of defiance. It's a speech of a proud foreign minister of a proud nation. And so it's a very strong, pointed speech, and it sends a message. And that would make it difficult for India, that how it goes about, reckoning into account Iran's very strong sentiments. Iran wants strong condemnation of US-Israel strike, which has devastated not only Iran, but the entire region in a manner of speaking.
Right.
So yes, so it is a gesture of friendship, support, and also that Iran is here to be counted.
Well, that's right, Manish, but also with New Delhi hosting the BRICS summit at this point, and amid an escalating West Asia crisis right now, do you think that this is a chance for India or a platform for India to now come out as a mediator of sort to make some consensus between the global rival camps?
Yes, I think BRICS offers a very good platform because BRICS comprises, major emerging economies. Now it's expanded. BRICS is 10 countries, and cumulatively, BRICS is a heavyweight in the international system. The only thing is that the mediator, when we talk about Iran, India being a mediator, the two countries are not here, and they're not part of BRICS. And they see BRICS with suspicion also, United States and Israel. So that is on a separate track. But what India can do as a president of the chair of BRICS is to shape a kind of narrative, a kind of a balanced, nuanced position, whereby the viewpoints of both Iran and other countries now in the BRICS fold, UAE and Iran are at loggerheads with each other there. So if for example, the process is still on of forging a consensus, the last meeting of BRICS MENA foreign ministers officials ended without a consensus.
Right.
So where India can play a role is to leverage the BRICS platform to shape a solution or a formulation that balances out both viewpoints. That first, I think this is where the search is on for. It's a quibble about words, but as you know, words carry a lot of meaning and resonance in international diplomacy.
Right.
So what formulation would be there to describe the US-Iran war? Iran wants very strong denunciation. UAE wants also condemnation of Iranian strikes on its territory and other Gulf countries. It's a very tricky position for India because India has excellent relations with all parties, not only UAE, Iran, Gulf states, but also US and Israel. So it's going to be a major tightrope walk. And what India can do is to leverage this very unique combination, that it is being held in high regard and esteem by all the parties to the conflict, in a manner of speaking. And India itself has huge stakes in the region. 10 million Indians who live in the Gulf region, who send around $40 to $60 billion in remittances. So the stability of the Gulf region and the end of the war, and you know how Indian economy has been hit hard.
Right.
This is in India's interest. And also, and I think Iranian foreign minister said that in his opening remarks, where he said that how this war has affected all economies.
Correct.
So this is in the interest of all countries, all BRICS countries. These are emerging economies. They can absorb shocks only up till a point, because their economy is directly impacted by all that has happened.
Correct.
So India, as an advocate of the middle path, India has always stood for diplomatic solutions. India has pushed for de-escalation and all that. So the only thing is that better sense prevails and the BRICS spirit prevails, because it's in the interest of Iran also. And UAE and UAE these are new members, to make sure that the BRICS cohesion and solidarity, and we do not lose sight of the larger BRICS agenda in this crossfire. So you have to bolster BRICS, you have to protect that. There's a powerful pressure group.
Right.
And if you do not have a consensus, then it will going to fuel the narrative of a BRICS, which is a divided grouping, and it weakens our bargaining position vis-a-vis other dominant powers like the United States and the rest.
Right.
So one only hopes that dialogue succeeds and some sort of middle of the road formulation is arrived at. Right now we are at the BRICS first Foreign Ministers Meeting. Right. There is still some months to go before the summit in September. So if not in this meeting, but some progress should be made, that what exactly where is the point of reconciliation. And I have some idea that what it can happen, whereby you can just have a general condemnation of the war and BRICS solidarity, how to protect, energy. BRICS can do a lot. That itself will be a message. How to ensure energy security in the middle of the war. BRICS comprises major energy producers and consumers. So I think BRICS should stress on, and that is what India's effort is, that condemnation and polemics are one thing. But what can BRICS do?
Right.
Stabilize, because economies of all countries have been impacted, and BRICS as a club, it was primarily an economic club when it began, of major emerging economies, what it can do for economic stability, for energy security, and all that. So that's where I think the voice of BRICS will matter a great deal.
Well, thank you so much, Manish, for joining me with those meaningful insights.